If you are struggling with self-doubt right now, maybe you're overthinking, perhaps you're procrastinating, or you're feeling really, really stuck, or maybe even suffering with burnout, then you're in absolutely the right place. Because today I'm talking to Patrick Mercy, who is absolutely brilliant. And he's going to talk about why that happens and also give you some solutions. So I'm going to hand straight over to you, Patrick.
Thank you so much. Nobody, nobody who is on this call right now was born with the beliefs they are currently holding. Nobody. What that means is that every single thing you believe right now comes either from an experience you had or was kindly gifted to you by someone close to you, be that peers, siblings, teachers, parents, TikTok, the news, a priest, or any other relation you might have. And what we do as human beings is some of those beliefs, we go like, no, thank you. I don't really think that's a good idea. But unbeknownst to us, lots of it we just assimilate them. We take them in and then we let them sit and they stay dormant until a situation arises that we need to act in a certain way and our thoughts are going around and what do I do next and how do I behave and what is the right answer, and then these old beliefs come like, oh, I know the answer. And your old beliefs, the beliefs that you've been holding unbeknownst to you, are guiding your thoughts, your actions, your thought patterns, and everything related to that. And then people might end up in situations where they procrastinate, where they don't know what to do next, where they overthink. And what do we do as human beings? Saying like, we need to fix that. We need to either fix the thought patterns, we need to fix the procrastination, we need to have better time management. Maybe, what we need is a bit more of training. Maybe we need a bit more, maybe this isn't just a job for Sean, right? All these beliefs are hidden. The habits that come forward from the beliefs are visible. And therefore, we think we need to fix the habits because the beliefs that underpin it have been hiding away quietly within you. So it is my belief, see what I did there? That you need to question your beliefs. That belief management is at the core of sustainable performance. That belief management is at the core of moving forward, of regaining momentum, of getting over that procrastination. Let me give you an example. Jack, not his real name, was put forward to me by the management in his company. Jack had been there since the start. Absolutely since the start of the company. To such an extent was he valuable to the company that they kept promoting him to the next step and the next step. Until at one stage, Jack stopped performing. In fact, he started getting into trouble with some of the people that were working with him. One or two staff members had left. He wasn't really performing anymore. And he was getting more moody. He was taking time off work. It was like, it wasn't the old Jack anymore. And the company director who knew me said, Patrick, maybe can you, because we're going to have to let him go. But they didn't want to because he was there since the start of the company, which had grown to now having 150 employees, roughly. The first time I reached out to Jack, I got a message back, not this week. I'm a bit busy. I really can't do this week. No, 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 no. It's not going to happen, mate. With the best will in the world, I don't even have half an hour for lunch. So it's not going to happen. Second time I reached out to Jack, same story, different excuse this time, but same story. Not this week, I don't have the time. The third time I reached out to him, I had been told by the directors, look, tell him he has to, or otherwise. Now, he has to, or otherwise is not a message I like. So I went back to Jack and I went, Jack, you really, really need to engage with me, mate, because I'm here to help. I'm not gonna make you do silly things. I'm here to help. And you know what you can do? Is that I'll send you an Excel sheet with on it Monday to Sunday, midnight to midnight. And you just fill out for 2 weeks what you do, roughly. 2 weeks later, I got the two Excel sheets to my astonishment because it was an easy thing to do. It was just one easy step for Jack to do. When he sent it back to me, I said, like, I can see there, like, on the Wednesday, you spent 3 hours on that thing. Can you do that in 2 hours? And the third hour, we'll meet for a chat. And he went, oh, yeah, I can do that, I suppose. I suppose I can do that. So we met for a chat. Now, long story short, what actually had occurred was that Jack thought that he had to do everything, because if he gave responsibility away to someone else in his team and they messed up, he would be responsible. And he said, well, if I'm going to be responsible, I better do it all myself. Now, when Jack started working with me, we figured out that belief, the belief that was behind that, had been coming from his parents. He had two younger siblings, two siblings that were 3 and 4 years younger than Jack. And he was told by his parents, if anything ever happens to any of the two of them, you're going to be held responsible. You look after them. You're the elder. You need to look after them. See how that belief became dormant within Jack. And later on in life, when he got promoted into company, he now held that belief that if anything happens with any of the staff, he would be responsible. So that was all that was holding him back. Was that belief, like, I'm responsible, so I better do everything. And we started picking away at that and asking questions around that. That is when Jack started to see that maybe you should let go of that belief. See, he didn't need time management. He didn't need any other fix. He just needed to check, where's the belief come from that's holding me back from performing at work. That is what I talk about when I talk about belief management. But like, I've given you an example. I could have made that up, right? I didn't, but I could have made that up. So let me give you some real examples. I have here a bag with 40 bingo balls in it. It's like, what this man doing with bingo balls in the middle of a talk, right? So I'm just going to, and they're all 40 different numbers, right? I'm not going to prove them to you. You're going to have to trust me. They're 40 different numbers. So I'm going to pick out one of these balls. I don't know if you're going to see this on screen, but this here says number 39. You probably can't see that if I zoom out. Number 39, it says N39, bingo, N39. I have here 40 A1 sheets numbered from 1 to 40. I'm going to pick out, I don't even know where this is going. This is good fun for me. Number 39 of the old beliefs Patrick held. These are 40, I could have written 200. 40 old beliefs Patrick used to hold. And I'm going to pick one and show you this. Right? I hate being different. See, when I was growing up, I was the last one in school to get a growth spurt. See, I was for a year to a year and a half the little one in the school. Now, the little ones in the school get bullied. There was something else wrong with me. Well, wrong. We can debate that. I was clever. I was cleverer than most of the class. Imagine being small and cleverer. I hated being different. So I hate being different means I can't stand out. So when a school play was announced, I desperately wanted to be on stage. There's always been a bit of a thespian in me. Did I put my hand up? No. As you could see maybe from me speaking, I'm quite extroverted. For years and years and years, I hid that extroversion. I hated the thought of putting my hand up and going, I'd love to. Imagine being in management, in corporate structures like I was, and you're at meetings and you have an idea that can fix something that's gone desperately wrong in your company. But I hate being different because I won't speak up. See, these beliefs that you get, and they don't need to all come from childhood, but those beliefs you hold, they're holding you back in your career. They're not just holding you back. Your ideas, unheard, might hold the company back, might hold a department back, might hold you back from finally doing those salsa dancing classes and finding you a new hobby. It might hold you back from all kinds of wonderful things in life. So the question I needed to ask myself is going like, I hate being different. Do I really hate being different? Do I really hate being different? No, I'm proud to be different. So what is it then? What do I really believe? Well, I believe that if I speak up, others won't like me. So that means I need validation. So I like validation. So is that my belief? So my belief is I like to be validated, but by being different, I won't be validated, and therefore I won't speak up. See, the more you question a belief, the deeper you go into it, the more you get to the source of where it's all coming from. Needing to be validated meant maybe I like being right. So the thing I needed to let go of was not being different or standing out. The thing I needed to get rid of was I need to be right. When I let go of I need to be right, and I replaced that with regardless of what I say or do, some people will like it and some people don't. I will try and work with the people who like my ideas. See, that's how you manage a belief. Do you want to do a second one? Let's do a second one. Just for that, while we're here, I'd like to show you that this isn't just a one trick pony. I have 40 of these. Number 35. Can you see that? Number 35. I need to go back. I didn't know that was going to be picked. I don't even know what's on number 35, so it's as exciting for me as for you. I am not creative. I should stick to academic stuff. I told you before, I didn't know this was going to come up. I was rather clever at school. And I was one of these people that was diagnosed with a percentile, like you're in the so much percentile, most clever people. And I say diagnosed because that's how it felt. Because if you're clever, you get shunted. I also told you that when there was a theatre piece, I wanted to put my hand up and go like, I won because I'm extroverted. And I love creative stuff. Actually, creativity, unbridled creativity are two words that are in my value statement of my own business. So I always believed that being creative and being clever were two things that didn't work together. And therefore, when I was working in my business or when I was working in corporate, it was always the academic stuff, the cleverness, the coming up with logical thinking ideas that were at the forefront of everything I did as a manager. Not allowing that creative playfulness to come in because that doesn't play a role in business. Until I had to be creative. Until I was forced in situations where it was being creative or being unemployed. And then all of a sudden, people went like, where did this come from? Where do all these innovative ideas come from? Where does this idea of let me tell you, stories pop up in my head. And it was two staff fighting in reception in one of the corporates I was working with, pulling each other's hair in front of customers in reception in corporate. I was called downstairs to separate them. Now I know better than to do that. So I stood at a distance. I went, would you please mind? Right. And when they separated, because they said, oh, the boss is here. Right. I said, you know what we're going to do is we're going to go for lunch. The three of us. No. I said, I'm paying. And I was so shocked by that approach that both of them started crying. And said, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. I said, that's okay. So that's being on the spot, creative, went for lunch with them, figured out what was the problem, and there was not even disciplinary action taken afterwards because it was such a silly thing that we all laughed about it afterwards. See, that creativity and that cleverness, that was a belief. Managing your beliefs, doing belief management is something that's going to make your performance sustainable and that's going to make you step away from certain beliefs that are holding you back. So my question to you is, what beliefs are holding you back? If you're procrastinating in some part of your business, in some part of your work, in your career, if you are stopping from doing something, instead of trying to fix that, have you ever thought, it was like, what's the belief that underpins this? What belief is actually holding me back? I use a 4-step framework to help people with their beliefs. The first step is discovery. So I dare you to believe better. Now that comes from a Dublin expression. If some of you might have visited Dublin before, and if you're lucky enough to meet some real Dublin people, you might hear them say, I dare you, right? And I dare you is can be meant in a funny way and it can be meant in a threatening way. So let's keep it funny here. And people say I dare you, Patrick, right? Well, I dare you to believe better. And the belief is first spot the belief. What is the belief? What is it that's holding you back? What is the real belief behind that? Now, you can do that for yourself. I would advise sometimes if the belief is deeply embedded in you that working with a coach would be a fantastic idea. I have one myself because I have blind spots, and my blind spots are best worked on with a coach. But what is the belief? So the discovery of what that belief is. Catch yourself in the act of thinking when you're procrastinating. You're like, what is it? What is it that makes me do this? I have certain beliefs around money because my dad was a left-wing union man, and there are certain beliefs around money that I had to overcome when I started running my own business, because otherwise it wouldn't have worked out very well. The second thing is awareness, and the awareness is also the questioning state. That belief that I've now uncovered, is it working for me? Is it serving me? Is it really good for me? Should I keep it? Should I maybe change it a little bit? Should I enhance it? What should I do with it? So we ask questions. Is it helpful? Is it necessary? Is it actually mine? Right? Where does it come from? Do I trust the person it comes from? Right? If TikTok tells me to do this, right? Where does it come from? So this is where you shine a light of what's embedded within you and ask, do I want to keep this? The third one then is to review. To review what you're going to do with it, what your options are. You know, like in a good coaching model, what are your options? Your option is to keep it, to get rid of it, to enhance it, to change it, to whatever it is you want to do with it. And the fourth one then is to pick the option and engage. Engage with either enhancing the belief, with getting rid of it, but when you get rid of it, to replace it, because if you leave a vacuum, right, replace it with an alternative belief. So this is the four-step process that I use. It's discovery, awareness, review, and engagement. Because when you start questioning the beliefs that underpin everything you do, and when you start literally believing things that are taking you in the direction you want to go in, it is a lot easier to overcome that stuckness. It's a lot easier to overcome that procrastination, because now your next step, not your next 40 steps, your next step is underpinned by a belief that is serving you. So belief management, in my opinion, is at the essence of sustainable performance. Remember what I said from the start. Nobody was born with the beliefs you currently hold. All the beliefs you have were given to you. Just like with gifts. You can keep them, you can re-gift, or you can bin them. Wouldn't it be worth binning the ones that aren't serving you and re-gifting the ones that are not of use to you, but maybe of use to someone else? Your beliefs might be hidden, but once you start working with it, the habits you create from your new beliefs will be more visible than the ones that helped you to procrastinate. Thank you.
Wow, Patrick, I love the way you explained that. Such fantastic storytelling. And I can absolutely relate to the belief about being different. For me, I had warts when I was very young. I was at infant school. And of course, at that time, it was all about holding hands with girls and skipping around the playground. No one, no wonder, wanted to hold hands with me. I didn't have to have one or two warts. My hands were festering with warts. So looking back, you can see why that happened. But when that happened, it was absolutely so upsetting for me that I decided that I wasn't like anyone else, that I would never fit in. And I started to create a life where I just didn't rely on other people. And
Mm-hmm.
I didn't uncover that belief for a long, long time. I found that my tribe was people who were in, I was doing amateur dramatics, and I ended up being very good at it and then becoming a professional. So it's really, really interesting how that old belief that may not have served us for a while can actually turn around to be, when we uncover it and take action, one of the best things that perhaps
Mm-hmm.
ever happened.
And they serve the purpose, right? At that time,
Absolutely.
they serve their
Get you
purpose
say,
at that
yeah,
time,
yeah,
right? Because often enough, these beliefs get instilled to us by other people not to harm us, most often, but to protect us.
yeah.
It might be misguided protection, but it is instilled in us to protect us by a lot of people, especially parents and siblings and friends and peers, etc.
Yeah.
But yes, you're carrying them with you, and often, and it's like they're hidden, and then something triggers
Yeah.
that belief. It comes back to the forefront. It might have been dormant for decades, and
Yeah.
then it stops you from doing the simplest thing.
Absolutely. Which is why, if you have beliefs that you haven't uncovered, they're gonna probably sabotage your best made plans, your best, the habits that you think, yeah, I'm going to have
Yes,
these habits because I'm going to be healthy, happy, it's going to go in the direction I want to. But there'll
right.
be a way that that part of you sabotages
Mhm.
those efforts, won't it? So thank you so, so much, Patrick. It's been
Oh,
fantastic listening to you. So if any of you watching or listening have been really inspired by what Patrick's been saying, then check out his links. They will be below. And do get in touch with him. Ask him a question. I'm sure he'll be all too happy to answer it, won't you, Patrick?
yes, absolutely. I answer all questions that come my way.
Fantastic. Okay, so thank you very much for coming on, and thank you everyone else for watching.